أبرز بنود الاتفاق: تشكيل برلمان شمال إيرلندا للتعامل مع القضايا المحلية، سمي بمجلس إيرلندا الشمالي North Ireland Assembly. نزع السلاح وإزالة الحواجز الأمنية التي وضعت أثناء الحرب بين الطرفين. تشكيل مجلس لتطوير التعاون ما بين إيرلندا الشمالية وجمهورية إيرلندا في مجالي الصحة والزراعة. السماح بحمل جواز السفر البريطاني والإيرلندي معا لمن يرغب. كما تضمن الاتفاق بندا جدليا للمجتمع الإيرلندي الشمالي، حيث أطلق سراح المعتقلين المتورطين في القتل بشكل فوري وغير مشروط.
When they released the prisoners through the Good Friday Agreement, many people were for it, many people were against it, depending whether you were a victim, a survivor, or whether you were part of an organisation who was getting their prisoners released. Did it help bring about the peace process? It probably did in an aspect, to get people around the table. Was it a good idea or not? Everybody's view is different.
And I was released about 6 months after the signing of the Good Friday Agreement. Had it not been for the Good Friday Agreement, I would have been in prison for another 10 years. I had been convicted of trying to kill members of the British Crown Forces. It was controversial in some circles, mainly among our enemies, who didn't want to see the Irish Republican prisoners released, because that in itself was an acknowledgement that we were political prisoners. And when conflicts and war ends, all the combatants are released from prison.
It's very difficult to say to those who were victims of IRA or loyalist violence, to say to them, well, as part of this peace deal, we're going to let out these prisoners. But pragmatically, there didn't really seem to be any other way. And it's not just the paramilitary prisoners that are involved. The British government has also been involved in carrying out torture and shoot-to-kill policies. It's been involved in a dirty war in Northern Ireland. So it's understandable that on all sides there are grievances. But again, Northern Ireland is really about what is pragmatic in terms of getting peace. But having said that, it's very difficult to explain that to people who've been victims of violent conflict and who want justice.
The Good Friday Agreement was a difficult time for our community. The Unionist Protestant community here was very much divided in its support, and this organisation, the Orange Institution, actually opposed the agreement at the time. And that was for a number of reasons. We were coming out of a period of intense internal terrorism, and some of the measures that were proposed as part of the agreement, such as the release of prisoners, the willingness to go into government with people who had been inextricably linked to that terrorist campaign, and at that time without the promise of permanent ceasefire or decommissioning weapons, I think was a step too far for many of our people at that time. But a large proportion of the Unionist community did vote, and you know, that was that. We're a democratic organisation, so we respect the mandate of that period.
We've got to know that the gun really is going to be taken out of Irish politics, that the weapons really are going to go in the way that the Good Friday Agreement determines, and in the way that we are committed to doing.
The vast majority of volunteers in the Irish Republican Army supported the leadership in their negotiation of the Good Friday Agreement, and they agreed to abide by the ceasefire and eventually to dump all our weapons, to put our weapons beyond use.
I felt good. I felt okay, you know. It took a long time to come round. There was a lot of ups and downs and ins and outs, and you know, but I think they got there in the end. Now, not everybody is happy with it. There's parts of it, you know, we're all not happy with in both communities, but I think it's something that we really need to work at if we want to keep peace.